Thompson here for Winnie Walter. Today we're going to be doing some watercolor stamping using two amazing sets. We're going to be using Kindness, and we'll be using the Kindness and then two of the Sentiments. And then from this we're going to be using the leaves. This is the In Bloom Lola's Bouquet with Joni and Aya, and we're going to be using the different leaves to actually do some watercolor stamping. I can't wait to show you. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we're going to begin with our watercoloring stamping. So I have all the leaves and I have placed them on my Misty. You don't have to use a stamp positioner, but when I'm doing this watercolor stamping, you don't know how that watercolor paper is going to hold on to that color. So that is why we're doing it. We are going to begin with Distress Oxide and Shabby Shutters, and I chose something that would react with water, yet it was nice and creamy color. So we are going to stamp the ink pad. We're going to put ink pad to stamp. We're going to stamp that up. Once we have a nice solid image, we're going to grab our spritzer. We're going to spritz it with water, and then we're going to bring down and hold it down. So I am using watercolor paper, and the reason I'm using watercolor paper is that it just absorbs all that color. So let's see what it looks like. You know what? That was a pretty good image. I didn't think this was going to do too well, so that's why I chose to do the stamp positioner. So now I'm going to flip this over, and we are going to do the same thing over on the other side. So put my magnet back. I wiped down most of the water off my stamp here. We're going to ink up again with the Distress Oxide. We're going to add spritz of water, and look how fun that's starting to dry. And then we're going to stamp down. Again, hold it down for a couple seconds and raise it, and look how pretty that is. We're going to let it dry for a bit, and then we're going to redo the configuration of our leaves. Alright guys, so that is dry, and I have reconfigured where I want to put the leaves. We're going to come in with our second green color, which is going to be Distress Oxides and Peeled Paint. And we're going to bring ink pad to stamp. We're going to saturate these guys. This is going to be a bit of a darker color, and it's going to overlay on some of this. I'm going to grab my mister, and I'm going to just spritz a couple times and bring that down onto the watercolor paper. I really like how that looks, but I kind of wanted to look more watercolory, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water. Be sure to aim on the stamp. Much better. All right, just gonna dry up any mess that was gonna start there. We're gonna flip this over. Then we're gonna bring back our peeled paint, ink it up. Okay. Grab the mister and repeat. You can do several layers of this. You can use all sorts of colors. You know, it'd be really pretty would be to use some florals on this as well. Anything you would like to do would work. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. We're gonna remove this, and we're gonna begin creating our card. Look how pretty and multidimensional that looks. I'm gonna bring this back, and I have a clean color real brush, and this is in mid brown. And so what we're gonna do with this, we're going to create little branches. So very lightly, you are just going to connect the leaves to one another. There is no wrong way to do it. I just felt that it would make things look a little more clustered. And when you're using these brushes, it's so nice because they have that brush tip, and it just really cleans it. So you can do it thin or thick lines, whatever you prefer. I'm just going to connect these from one to another. Okay, I think this branch is going to go this way. This branch is going to go this way. Alright, I think I got all my leaves connected on this one, and I got all my leaves connected on that one. So it just creates a little leaf pattern, a little tree. All right, friends, so this is nice and dry. I will set it up again on the Misty or the stamp positioner, and then we are going to stamp the kindness. So I have, it's a large kindness. It's going to go right across. So I have it ready to go. We're going to be using the Midnight again from Catherine Pooler. You can get this on the Winnie Walter shop. So I'm just going to ink that up. And the reason that I'm using the stamp positioner is because I am using watercolor paper and it does have texture. And it can happen that it won't stamp all the way. See, that's exactly why. And due to that, I do not want to have a faded image. I want this to pop out, especially since it's being stamped over some watercolor images. It's going to take about 2 or 3 of these stampings over and over to get the achieved black. But when you have any sort of pattern cardstock, you really want to be using a stamp positioner to get your images to come through. I think we got one more on that K. Okay, and we got it. Look how pretty that is. Let me pull this out of here, move that out of the way, and that is super pretty. We are going to move on to stamping the rest of the sentiments. We're going to be using Your and Brightens My Day. So what we're going to do, we're just going to grab our black ink pad again, and we're going to stamp Your. And then on this corner, I'm going to do Brightens My Day. And then we're going to trim both of these pieces, cut them up, and then attach them to the card. Let's try it again. Attach them to the card with foam adhesive. All right, let's see. Much better. So we're going to go ahead and trim those. All right, so we've cut the little sentiments that we just stamped, and we're just going to place these so Your Kindness Brightens My Day. I'm just going to bring that down just a tad. And last but not least, we are going to place this over our card base. So we're going to get some adhesive. We're going to adhere the whole thing. And you want to use a lot of adhesive because it is watercolor cardstock. So there is a bit of texture and dimension to it already. We're going to place it, we're going to center it. So like I said, my cardstock was cut just 1/4 of an inch smaller than my card base. And the reason I like to do that, it just makes it look very nice and clean and happy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this quick tutorial. Be sure to click subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much. Have